Hello and welcome to kind of a variation on Trash to Treasure, but also a kind of can I dupe this, make it for cheaper? Because I'm 100% not willing to spend $68 on this kind of mat, especially considering it's out of stock. I'm going to start this off with a mat from my local Dollar Tree or Dollarama. Just your local dollar store should have this. This was $2. I'm using a white pencil crayon and a ruler to determine the outline that I wanted to create. Very simple. Once I've got that down packed, I'm cutting it out. At first with scissors to get past the the thicker edge of sorts. Then with an X-Acto or utility knife because it's incredibly easy to cut. I found cutting along the line once or twice and then pulling it out just did the trick completely. Then flipping it back over and removing the price sticker and using that to collect any unwanted fluff. I'm going to be using some tape to start the inner design. This was a little bit hard to follow as I was doing it, trying to remember that whatever tape that would go down would be the negative space in the end. I had even decided at one point that I wanted this to have a little tip at the top like the Anthropologie one did, but alas I forgot to do that, so just a heads up. I could paint over the tape with no issue, but I basically had to visualize the design as a negative rather than what I actually wanted it to look like, to know where exactly to put the tape. It is a lot a bit hard to see, but trust the process because of course the design will come together in the end. To paint it, I'm simply using white acrylic paint. At first I was using a pastel mix, which I do not recommend, as I did get it from the dollar store as well, but I found it to be a little bit too thick, so I used my tried and true acrylics, also from the dollar store. As this dries, you'll realize that the color sinks in a little bit and it goes a little bit more brown. If you don't like that, you can go over the same area a couple of times and it will get more and more bright. Or if you're adding color to this, you might want to do the same thing as it'll be a nice little base. I like the look of the lighter brown versus being a stark white, so I just kept it going with that. Then it was time to begin taking the tape off. I did this while the paint was still wet. When I did the windows though, I kind of blanked entirely and put 2 pieces of tape down when I had wanted to do some crisscrossing as well. When I take it off, you'll notice how it looks, but I end up fixing that with just some brown acrylic paint. I basically just color matched as best as I could, but I would still have preferred to not do it. Before fixing any areas or touching up, I went in with a detailing brush in that same white and started on the shingles on the roof. In the beginning I hadn't realized how small I was making them and how that it would impact the size I would have to do with many more rows, so I started making them bigger and bigger gradually. You just kind of gotta work with what you got, depending on the size of your rug or your mat. it was touch-up time and further more time to start working on the smaller details.
We've no place to go. Let it snow, let it snow.
To make each almost perfect circle, I used a variation of brushbacks, like the opposite end that you'd normally use to paint. I just continued with that, plus the detailing. You probably could add a protective coat on this at some point if you wanted to. I found that any mats that I make around the house, they stay very well.
We've no place to go. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
So all in all, I would say yes, this can definitely be duped up, considering the original price was $68 USD or $87.01 approximately in Canadian, and the dupe that I did is $2 for the mat and $1.50 for the paint. But that is it for today's video. I do hope you guys enjoy. See you in the next one. Bye.